Hey everybody, it's your Sam and I am here with another video. Earlier in the month, I think it was actually in March, I suffered from a migraine during one of my live streams. It just came on, and the more we kind of talked about it, even though I couldn't really talk because I couldn't think of words and I couldn't really focus all that much, I realized that there's not much knowledge out there about migraines to the general public. At least not readily accessible unless you go searching for it and start reading about it. So I wanted to kind of do a video about migraines and how they can affect you and how to help a person who may be a migraine sufferer that is near you. This goes with anything that people suffer from. Not everybody actively researches different diseases, different diagnoses to see how they can help you or to see how you are suffering so that they can either sympathize with you or try to help you. So this video is just broad knowledge. It's not by all means all-encompassing knowledge about migraines. It's mostly going to be about my experiences that I've had with migraines, or those that I know that suffer with migraines, and what I've done research on over the years. Everything I say is not what everybody who has migraines suffers from. They can have a few of these symptoms, they can have a few of these tactics that they need to use in order to keep a migraine at bay or to get over a migraine. So just kind of talk to the person that you know that suffers from migraines and see what they would like you to do if they ever suffer a migraine around you, because everything is different for each person and it's always going to be that way, especially medical wise. So let's get into it. What can cause a migraine? There are a lot of things that can cause migraines. One is stress. That's probably going to be the #1 factor in causing migraines in the United States, because we are a live to work nation. Stress is one of the #1 factors. Weather changes can affect migraines. Change in temperature, change in the barometric pressure. I suffer from the barometric pressure change. And what barometric pressure changes happen is when it's going to rain, is raining, or after it rains. That's when that particular meter changes. Strong scents or strong smells can cause migraines. Poor posture can cause migraines. Strenuous activity. Now, if you're running a marathon and all that good stuff, or you are working hard and it's continuous, then yeah, that can cause a migraine. It might also lead to a stroke, so be careful. There is a chemical in aged cheese and cold cuts and wine and some ale, or red wine mostly I think, and some ales called tyramine, and that has been known to cause migraines. Skipped meals, hunger can cause migraines. Smoking can cause migraines. Caffeine can cause migraines, and excessive doses of sugar can cause migraines. So it's basically everything that you enjoy and love, other than, you know, stress and rainy weather, that can cause a migraine. There are medications out there that can help migraine sufferers get over a migraine, lessen the migraine severity, or be able to actually be coherent and a member of society while suffering from a migraine. And these are anti-inflammatories. Some of them, most of them are NSAIDs, which are non-steroidal anti-inflammatories that you can find over the counter. Things like Aleve or Motrin or aspirin. There are triptans and ditans. These are mostly prescribed medication. Sumatriptan is one of them, and some of the different sumatriptans are like Imitrex and Onzetra and Zimbrace. So those can help. You can talk to your doctor about those. There's one that's called Frova. There's Relpax and Elatriptan or Elcatriptan, and there's Exert or Almatriptan, and yeah, there's a few others, but I can't really remember them right now, and I did not write them down. But most of those prescribed medications are available in pill form, but since you might suffer from nausea, a lot of throwing up during your migraines because you're just in so much pain, most of those drugs are available as shots or nasal sprays in order to get past the whole nausea thing, because you don't want to take a pill that's supposed to help you get over the migraine and end up just throwing it up 5 seconds later. There are also corticosteroids that are, again, prescription medications. These are a little bit more on the dangerous side. They have a lot more side effects. One of the most common corticosteroids on the market right now is prednisone. You kind of want to talk to your doctor and see if any of the others can help you out before you try the prednisone, unless you are really suffering and a corticosteroid shot is really going to give you that instant relief, and all the more power to you. There are also combo medications that are over the counter, like Excedrin migraine is one of the most common ones. It combines caffeine with an NSAID like aspirin. That's what you can do for it. A lot of people, myself included, I like to take some espresso and get a couple of pain pills in me, and that usually helps me stay alive. I don't need to put it that way. That usually helps me be more coherent and to try to get through the day to where I can get home and relax a little bit. How can you curb migraines or try to keep migraines from coming up on you? That's a good question to have, and that's good practices to have in your daily life as well. One is to drink plenty of water. Another one is to limit your caffeine intake, which, yeah, if you're like me and you're a coffee addict, sometimes limiting the caffeine can cause a migraine because I'm addicted to caffeine. So we've slowly been doing this. I used to drink about 15 cups of coffee a day back in the day, and now I'm down to 1, maybe 2 a day. I think that's a good thing in my book, and maybe one day I can completely cut caffeine out of my life, but until then, I'm happy with the way it is. Avoiding salty foods can help as well. Salty foods, the most common thing that salty foods do is it dehydrates you, and it can also raise your blood pressure, which both can cause migraines. Another thing that you don't want to do is you don't really want to skip meals. Hunger can cause migraines as well. You want to limit heavy smells or heavy scents, and you want to limit bright lights. I know a lot of us work under fluorescent lighting, and that's terrible lighting for migraine sufferers. I mean, it's awful. I would much rather be out in the sunlight all day than having to deal with fluorescent lighting, but here we are. Also, something that you can do is take breaks. With some of our jobs, you're either looking at a computer screen all day or your phone screen, or you're under fluorescent lighting a lot. So if you can take your allotted breaks at work to get away from those things that can cause you to have a migraine. So how do migraines affect your health? Just like anything dealing with your body and anything that causes you a lot of pain, migraines can cause a lot of other things, or other things can cause the migraine. Some of these kind of go hand in hand. It's kind of like the chicken or the egg, what came before that caused the other. One is a stroke. Some people who suffer from migraines, especially women, tend to have a higher chance of having a stroke in their lives than women who do not suffer from migraines. And this can be because strokes and migraines both can limit blood supply to the brain, so keep that in mind. High blood pressure can definitely cause migraines, and migraines can cause high blood pressure. Another thing is epilepsy. A lot of times having epileptic seizures or epileptic episodes can cause migraines. Sometimes migraines have been known to cause epilepsy in individuals as well. So that's something to keep in mind, to talk to your doctor about, to see if that is something that you may find is in your future. Another thing that migraines can cause is insomnia. And we all know that insomnia also causes depression and anxiety. So that creates just a train wreck of a Ferris wheel that you keep on riding, because depression, anxiety, and insomnia can cause a migraine. Migraine causes insomnia, which causes depression and anxiety. So yeah, welcome to the cyclical devastation that is a migraine. There's something called tinnitus, which is a ringing or roaring or scratching in the ears that can be really loud, really unpleasant. That can cause migraines, or migraines can actually cause tinnitus as well. Again, chicken or the egg came first. There's also studies that show that fibromyalgia may be a side diagnosis of migraines, or fibromyalgia may cause migraines. Also, low blood sugar. A lot of diabetics that I know also suffer migraines, and vice versa. Some migraine sufferers, one in particular that I know, did become a diabetic. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that she became a diabetic because of the migraines. It's a lot more than just one thing that can cause something. So kind of keep that in mind too. There's also a few studies that show that migraines can cause IBS, which is irritable bowel syndrome, because of all the nausea and, messed up eating habits that migraine sufferers usually have. What can happen during a migraine episode? Again, this is different for everybody, and each person who suffers from migraines, each episode can be as different as night and day as well. I've had migraines where I have babbled like a 2-year-old, and I thought I was making sense, but to the people who were listening to me, my mom, who was kind of freaking out, she couldn't understand a single word I was saying and didn't even know that I was actually saying words. And there are times where I'm really light sensitive, other times where I'm really sensitive to smells, and there are times where I'm sensitive to neither. I just throw up all the time. So yeah, it changes just like your body changes. And there are some things that can help curb your migraines or help you with migraines that worked 5 years ago, but now all of a sudden they're not working, and it's because your body changes chemically. That's all it is. Or your body gets immune to some of the medications that you take. What happens during a migraine? I don't know much about this new term. I think it's been recent, but studies have been labeling some of the symptoms of migraines as auras. And there are different types of auras. Auras are visual changes like seeing spots or lines, or a loss of vision, like a tunnel vision, like you're about to pass out kind of thing. There's also an aura that has you feeling pins and needles or numbness, like in your extremities or even in your face, or just different parts of your body, depending on what the migraine is affecting in your brainstem or brain. There are auras that affect your speech and your sense of smell and your sense of taste. When I first was diagnosed with migraines and I started studying this, the word aura was not really around. It was, these things were kind of categorized under different terms, like photophobia, or just light sensitivity, or just the word numbness, or something like that. So what an aura is it is a migraine that affects something in the brainstem, which affects a sense: smell, hearing, taste. Another thing is called ataxia, which is a lack of coordination. A lot of times when I have migraines, I tend to walk a lot slower just because I don't feel stable. Sometimes I feel like I can't hold on to things, or that I'm not holding on to things, so I squeeze things too hard. And there's, you know, just all the different things that go with lack of coordination, you know, stumbling. There's fumbling a lot. There's also something called dysphagia, which is language skills, which is also termed under the aura thing now. Can't really, but dysphagia is kind of different because dysphagia is more like you really can't remember words. You don't really understand what others are saying, and you might not even understand what you're saying. Like you're babbling. So that is under dysphagia, the term dysphagia. Hyperosmia, I can't really pronounce that word correctly, but it is being sensitive to smells, or smells smell different. So an example of this is maybe bacon is cooking, and we all know the smell of bacon. But when you're suffering from a migraine, that bacon smell turns into something that smells rotten. Or there have been times where I know I should be smelling bacon cooking, but it smells like lavender to me, which is really weird. Other times it's actually smelled like, you know, trash, like when your trash gets a little old and you need to take it out. Sometimes bacon cooking kind of smells like that to me whenever I'm suffering from a migraine. Phenoptia, I think is how you pronounce it, is sensitive to sounds. I get this a lot. Anything that's really loud to me, I just can't handle it. I can't handle really loud sounds to begin with, because that's usually one of the things that causes me to have migraines. My daddy was a logger and running chainsaws and lumber mills a lot of times kind of caused me to have a migraine if I wasn't prepared to be around it that day. Just loud music playing or constant loud noise. Basketball game, for example. I went to a lot of basketball games when I was younger, and the roar of the crowd, because that's what it became. I didn't hear singular voices anymore. It just became a roar whenever I started getting migraine symptoms because of being at the basketball game. So yeah, sensitive to sounds. There's photosensitivity, which is being sensitive to lights. So bright lights, or any light at all really, can cause a migraine or worsen a migraine. There are times where I've known people who suffer from migraines, they have to have a blackout room in order to help them get over the migraine. There's also vertigo, which oftentimes is confused with like a dizziness. Vertigo can be kind of dizziness, but vertigo is more of like the world is spinning too fast, or you feel the world spinning, or you feel yourself spinning. So it's more to that effect than actual dizziness kind of thing. But dizziness can go with migraines as well. So yeah, there's just a few things that can happen while suffering from a migraine. I also mentioned nausea. A lot of times when the human body suffers from a lot of pain, you end up throwing up a lot or having diarrhea, just because your body is trying to figure out what's causing the pain and trying to get rid of as much toxins in you as it possibly can, even though it may not be toxic. Nausea is a biggie. There's also shakes, especially if you're suffering from a migraine that was caused by you skipping a meal. There's the, lack of nutrients or the drop in sugar levels that can cause the migraines and also cause body shakes, or you feeling like you're shaking all the time. That's about all I have for you on migraines. There is just so much more information out there if you want to research it. There's a lot of good information on WebMD. I know a lot of people hate WebMD, and it just don't use the symptom checker. It's ridiculous, but the information that you can find from experts on WebMD is pretty good. The information that I found on WebMD about migraines, that's where I did a lot of my studying, or I started a lot of my studying, and I found the doctors there, and I found some of their articles that led me elsewhere. That's a good place to start, is WebMD. Just, again, don't do the symptom checker, because you're just going to end up having cancer, and yeah. Anyway, I hope this helps you understand a little bit more about migraines and about how to kind of help those that suffer with migraines around you. Again, make sure that you ask them what you can do to help, or if they even need your help when they're suffering from a migraine. I know some people who suffer from migraines kind of have like a little go kit or a migraine kit, and it has their preferred medications in it. It has like a cold pack or a heating pad or something in it, just to kind of help them loosen everything up, help the blood flow and all that good stuff. Just do your research, and hopefully you don't suffer from too many migraines. If you do, I'm sorry. We will get through this, and we'll get through this together. As always, be kind to one another, stay safe, and stay being creative, and keep writing. I will see you next time.